are your tools in your toolbox when you see something online that you like use to deconstruct and say, hey, this isn't going on?
So I think probably one of the biggest toolbox is all the books behind me. These are just a small fraction of the books I have. And I actually have quite a few books in my Kindle as well. So probably one of the biggest tools is that, well, shoot, I'm the tool, because this is literally my life. This is all I do. I have a couple of hobbies. I like to run. I like to ride bikes. But I work about 13 to 16 hours a day. And even when I'm going running, I'm reading or I'm listening to a nonfiction book. So, the step one in your defense in depth, and your defense against misinformation, is to be informed yourself. And that means read as much as possible, learn as much as possible about the entire world. Everything from, I have The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn right here.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
I have a book on Eros and Pompeii. Right? I think these are two random books that I pulled off the shelf, right?
Yeah, and by the way, I just wanted to share too that Ryan has been, not only has he done a video on some of his favorite books, but also he gave We're Not Blowing Hot Air an exclusive list of his top favorite books that I'll share later on with our subscribers. So thank you for that, Ryan. But okay, right. So inform yourself.
That's
your brain.
That's your base.
Your brain.
Your base is to actually look to read as much as you can and know as much as you can. That's your base, right? That's your foundation. And then for me, one of the tools that I use is Google reverse image search. And Google reverse image search allows you to take an image and figure out the provenance of that image. Where did this image come from? So you might take a look at this image and see all of the possible instances where this image was posted, or even similar images. So that's one useful tool. Now, Cyabra is a paid tool. I think it's normally costs about $12,000 a month. I actually don't pay for it. Cyabra gives it to me for free. I just have to mention them when I use a tool. And Cyabra is constantly scanning social media, and it uses some secret sauce to determine whether accounts are real or fake. And there's certain software tricks they have up their sleeve to figure out whether accounts are real accounts or inauthentic accounts. And that is very useful when taking a look at people on social media who are spreading misinformation. So those are kind of like 3 layers of defenses there. And the average person, they have access to 2. Read as much as you can and use Google reverse image search if you're ever looking at an image that could be deceptive imagery persuasion. Which, by the way, talking about deceptive imagery persuasion, if you'd like me to do that.
Please, yes.
The idea behind deceptive imagery persuasion is that you take a truthful picture and you put misleading text on it. And one example I always give is there's this famous Facebook post of a woman who said, "This is Betty White in her 20s. Now, I don't know if you show graphics during your show, but I can send you this image. But Betty White in her 20s, this gorgeous woman. She's kind of like, a 1930s pinup model looking thing. But it's not Betty White. But you want to believe it's Betty White, right? Because who doesn't like Betty White?
Yeah, real jerks wouldn't like Betty White.
That's an easy sell. And there's not a lot of there's not a lot of problems that you can encounter if you are wrong that isn't Betty White, right? Like the amount of proof that you have to do increases based on the level of the threat. If you came to me and said, "Ryan, someone parked in your parking space," I'm probably not going to ask you for proof. I'm probably going to take your word for that, right? But if you say, "Ryan, hey, 2 knights are jousting outside," I'm going to want to see some proof about that.